I always do a presentation very early on why we've signed the player as well. But I think the first impression is we have signed you because we love you as a player. And this is why. Because if I'm going to invest my time and energy to try and make you better,
yeah,
and really commit, late at night thinking about training sessions for you, I want to know more about the person I'm doing that for.
How would you have liked to have been coached by you?
Oh, that's a good question. Would I have liked me? I don't know.
And is it true, Eddie, I heard this story about you, so you can either confirm or deny it, that one of the things that you did was find out some of the detail about partners' names, birthdays, things like that, so you could just add to that personal touch of reminding them that, oh, it's your partner's birthday today, happy birthday. And was that part of that one-on-one period? Yeah,
it's something that, I think you can see the player train, you can see the player on match day, but then behind it, if you don't know anything about them, and you're having a conversation with them, you don't know whether they have children or not. I don't think that's a conversation that's going to last long. Yeah. And I think the player will very quickly think you're not really interested in me.
Yeah,
you're just talking to me because you feel you need to. So I didn't want those types of conversations. I really want to know, because if I'm going to invest my time and energy to try and make you better, and really commit, late at night thinking about training sessions for you, I want to know more about the person I'm doing that for.
Yeah.
So I think it's a vital part of the job, and that's how sort of close I want to get to my players, really.
Yeah.
And what does that do for you then? Because obviously your job's to win football matches, right? And I think it's quite rare to hear someone talk about the fact that a player's career is the thing that you almost care about the most. Is it because if you think about their career, you're thinking about them, and if you're thinking about them, then they're improving, and if they're improving, it's good for everyone?
Yeah, I think it's that step-by-step approach. I think obviously I'm in charge of the team, and I want the team to do really, really well.
Yeah.
But I think the best way for the team to do really, really well is for the individual to excel. And if I can try and improve those 25 players, each individually, and really invest in them, then I think the team and the club will never look back. So yes, it's a sort of a step-by-step approach, and it's how I've always been. Now, whether that's because my playing career was frustratingly average, whether that's sort of formed me as a manager and as a coach, I don't know. Possibly because I wanted to achieve great things in my playing career, and I never quite got there through different reasons. So whether there's a bit in there that formed me, I think possibly.
So some of your playing career, and I know your playing career was cut short through injury, but when you look back on that period, how would you have liked to have been coached by you?
Oh, that's a good question. Would I have liked me? I don't know. I think I would have done. I think I would have liked that personal touch. I would like that one-to-one coaching, because you think you've got 22 players running around on a football pitch. It's very easy to just look at the team and forget the individual within the team. But everyone's at different stages of their career. Everyone is different things. So I think I'd have loved the care and attention, and then the self-improvement to follow that up.
Well, on those early one-to-one sessions, what was the most valuable question that you asked the players? The one that taught you the most about what you were about to step into?
I don't think there was anything from a football level. I think it was more their background. So whether it's brothers, sisters, children, mum or dad, I think they're the conversations that you learn the most about the person and their motivations and why they're here. There's always, a story, whether it's I had 3 brothers and we were in the garden all day and that's how I became a footballer and I was the youngest, or I was a lonely child. Whatever their story is, I think it's fascinating to hear it. And I'm sort of now asking that question, then thinking of my own kids, and because when you become a father, I think that's that was a massive change for me in my life. And I think I'd love to think I've become a better manager since becoming a dad as well.
And you will have players here with challenging upbringings, challenging backgrounds. We talk often that something that's not your fault is still your responsibility. There'll be a lot of players here that carry baggage that isn't their fault, but actually it's their and your responsibility to help them with that. So do you manage the players differently depending on what you learn about their background?
Definitely. I think you have to. I can't treat all 25 players the same.
Yeah.
Because as you said, they've all had different backgrounds. They come from different countries. Their experiences in life and in sport are so different. And their personalities are different. That's obvious. So then you have to treat one person differently to the next to get the best out of them, but also for them to feel safe in the environment that you're trying to create. And I think having that understanding, as I said, being a dad myself has then helped me so much with that, because I think without that experience, I think the job becomes much more of a challenge. You have the empathy and the understanding of what it's like to be a dad, what it's like to be a son. And that can only help you, I think, in your dealing with the players.
Look, we all know the struggle of deciding what to eat, but what if I told you that Howe can make that decision easier? Their taster bundle has got 8 ready-to-drink bottles, including their black edition, which has got 35 grams of protein, 6 daily A to Z vitamins, 8 complete nutrition bars, 2 hot savoury pots, and a free Howe t-shirt. All you have to do is click the link in the description to unlock your offer now at howe.com/highperformance.
And do you get the players to share their stories with each other as well? And the reason that I'm asking this is when we interviewed Sia Khaleesi, the South African rugby captain, he said that those exercises of sharing their own stories with each other were like a catalyst to build deeper relationships, stronger bonds, that he felt was the springboard for them to go on and win the World Cup.
Yeah, we do. So as part of our fine system, we have a sort of a weekly meeting, or once every 2 weeks now, where one player from the squad will then tell his story. Now, one of the first things I did was tell mine to the group. So first coming in, I thought, well, if I'm going to set this as part of what we do, I've got to lead from the front and do it myself. And I actually found it quite emotional to do that. So you go back and you tell things that you think are relevant and what people need to know about you. And we've had some brilliant stories, some brilliant talks by the players, and you find out so much stuff that even from a conversation between me and you now, you could never tell me stuff. But then in that format, it's almost the players want to tell their story and they're telling things that are very personal to them. But I do believe it brings you closer together, and also it gives you an understanding if someone's having a bad day. There might be a reason why he's having a bad day, and to ask the right questions.
And what's the atmosphere like in the room when that's happening?
Yeah, you could hear a pin drop. It's everyone's very respectful and understanding that it's going to be their turn at some stage. So give the person all the support that they can. And no, we've had some really good ones. Because
I often wonder, when you look from the outside in, where you see football teams do like initiation ceremonies, and somebody's got to stand up and sing a song, and the rest of the squad throw bread rolls at them and things like that. And I often wonder like how useful they are, because I'm not sure what the effect of it is, but I can certainly see the effect of somebody standing up and sharing something deeply personal and being heard and recognised rather than like made fun of or something like that. Like, where do you stand on that kind of initiation ceremony versus what you're doing?
Yeah, I mean, I think depends what you're looking for. I think the initiation ceremonies have a place if you want to have a laugh and you want to get the lads together, laughing, joking at each other and not taking themselves too seriously. I can sort of see the merits in that, as long as you know what it is. But this one is, I think, a lot of respect. If you're willing to talk about something that's personal to you, then you have to give that person a lot of respect. And then you have to give them the vehicle to then express themselves with no judgments. And no, it's worked really well. But I wouldn't say I'm massively for the initiation ceremonies, unless we've done it during pre-season to get a new group bonded together and try and create some laughter, because laughter is ultimately so powerful.
So you've got another challenge now, which is new players coming into the group. What is your message to the new players that Newcastle sign? How do you let them know very quickly the expectations of you and of this football club? What's your go-to?
Yeah, it's a good question. My go-to would be, we've got several presentations on how we train, why we train as we do. I always do a presentation very early on why we've signed the player as well. So we've signed you because we love this about you. We love the fact.
All positive stuff.
Yeah, it's all positive stuff. Yeah, the development stuff that can wait till after. Yeah. But I think the first impression is we have signed you because we love you as a player, and this is why. Again, it goes back to the strengths thing. I think people have to know why you're bringing them to the football club, and then you set your expectations with a series of small little meetings about what we do and why we do it.
So when I think of someone like Kieran Trippier that you signed, it appeared again from the outside that you were recruiting him not only for his talent as a footballer, but for his characteristics as a person, and more importantly, as a leader in that dressing room, of coming in with high standards. You've experienced winning La Liga, for example. How much do you actually give them that explicit brief of leadership versus just allow it to happen organically?
Yeah, well, I think at the time when we signed Kieran in January, we were trying to sign leaders.
Right.
So relegation battle, very, very difficult situation we were in. We felt we couldn't sign players for the future. It was for the here and now. And it was try and generate a team spirit in the group that will be so strong that will carry us over the line. So Kieran, I had worked with him at Burnley. I knew about him and his background, and the fact he'd gone on to have a brilliant career is down to his leadership and his attitude. So him, Dan Burn, Chris Wood, all experienced players, but had that leadership quality in them. And I got to say, they did a brilliant job in the dressing room, and just in terms of, it was already good, but the feeling, but just gluing it together and making it stronger.
But when we interviewed Phil Neville, for example, he said when he went from Manchester United to Everton that he was happy just to go into the dressing room and establish his credentials, like bit by bit over time. And yet he said he found when David Moyes gave him the captaincy, that put him under a lot of pressure. The dynamic in the dressing room shifted. So how explicit were you with the rest of the group that these guys are going to come in and set the standards versus almost just let them get on with it?
Yeah, no, I don't think that's a dangerous thing to do, is to almost build them up.
Yeah.
Say they're going to come in and do that. I think just let them lead, because it really, there's loads of different ways to lead, but the most powerful one, I think, in a football sense, is leading by example on the training pitch.
Right.
And those guys did that immediately. Their standards were very high. Now then, if you can be vocal with that and demanding with that in time, because I don't think you're going to do that from day one, but vocal and demanding with that as you get comfortable in the group, then that's like gold dust for the team.